So here we sit as Pluto has ingressed into Aquarius, 0 degrees from 29:59 with the sun. This 29 degrees Capricorn, just going to go straight to it. There's two figures. Jeff Bezos, Mars 29 degrees Capricorn, and Jeffrey Epstein, Sun 29 degrees Capricorn. These two figures are representative in action and sense of self, the 29th degree, which is total power, total control, and the, let's say, quote unquote, prizes or whatever you want to call it that come with it. What we have experienced with Pluto through Capricorn up to the 29th degree ingress into Aquarius, it's going to come back into Capricorn for 2 months at the end of this year, is the total, it's like the iron fist that clenches and grips around power institutionally, societally, and civilizationally at all costs. And what it is reminiscent of, let's say the Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Sun conjunction in Capricorn with Pluto in 2020, when we had the event that changed effectively everything, brought us into this paradigm shift that we're undergoing now. That conjunction harkens back to the opening of the slave trade in Spain in the 1500s, as well as Martin Luther's reformations, I believe, or whatever his proclamation was that he nailed upon the doors of the church, which split into, I think, Protestantism is the term. I'm not very good with the whole Christian history thing. This Pluto in Capricorn, up to the 29th degree, primarily, again, Pluto has to do with trauma. It has to do with transformative, revolutionary change. It has to do with something like nuclear fission, which down to the very, very core is transformed. Like a volcano is a good Pluto analogy. Something exploding or emerging from the core or the center of the earth. The trauma of institutionalized slavery, rape, abuse, manipulation, call it wage slavery, call it extreme capitalism, where people are nothing more than human capital and corporations are human beings for some reason. We've gotten to this point, I think it's a great example when you talk about the term human capital and corporations are legally human beings. That is representative of Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn to the 29th degree, which is the utmost of power and civilizational control. There's a cat outside the window, and the cat's inside the window watching it. This is funny. That amount. All right, I want to watch this for a second. Hold on. Where is it? That amount, that's funny, that amount of civilizational control has nothing to do with humanity, which is Aquarius, right? That's the transition into Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. Community, equity, seeing human beings as people with feelings and emotions. That movement is the binding and bondage, think Saturn and Capricorn, of this highly traumatic system which exploits, manipulates, controls, coerces. Again, Jeff Bezos and Jeffrey Epstein, 29 degrees Sun, that's Epstein, 29 degrees Mars, that's Bezos. the actions and the centers of self, which through the constellation of power, through a centralized system, like a bank or a nation or an institution, that's all Capricorn, the bones and the foundation of the structure of the system, which allows for power, right? You think of the human bones as the foundation. That is what Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, ingressing, going back and forth, right on that 29th degree, as it will again at the end of this year, is exposing just the amount of trauma and pain, right? If you think about the abuse survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking out, I think there's a Netflix documentary on that now. Those abuse survivors are the 29th degree of Capricorn with Pluto. So think Sun conjunct Pluto, Epstein's Sun conjunct Pluto. Those abuse survivors are speaking out on just the amount of pain, the amount of suffering, how it has fundamentally changed them and their path to healing. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the consequences of institutional power and how it inflicts high grades of trauma upon human beings. And this is real. This has to do with acknowledging your fellow human being, their feelings, their emotions, their needs, the need to sleep, be there for your family, take care of yourself physically, working 12-hour jobs for minimum wages in a civilization which prioritizes the wealth of the wealthy above everything and all else, and deifies celebrities while people are starving on the streets. This is what Pluto in Capricorn is showing us. It's showing us the high rise, the Trump Hotel, and then the people on the streets who, there's the cat again, who desperately need food, shelter, the basics, the essentials, the necessities. And these people are no different than these great celebrities or great business leaders. It's just a social structure that has propped up these people for whatever reason to be of a higher grade or deserving of more power. Divine right of kings type BS that is continued into this modern paradigm in the form of wage slave capitalism or late capitalism, where corporations are human beings, right? Just this insanity. But that's what Pluto in Capricorn is showing us. And then the transition of Pluto into Aquarius is we're moving into a place of deep compassion, understanding of, we're actually a part of this massive cosmos where all of these different parts are functioning together as a sort of global community. And the necessity of starting to move past these institutions and these structures that have historically said that one person is greater than the other because of a social idea of what it means to be a certain race or a color or to belong to a certain group. Aquarius also represents in-groups and out-groups, right? Who belongs and who doesn't. And this goes back to the idea of humanity, what it is to be a human being, the profound nature of that experience. That's also what Aquarius represents. It's the neurology, right? The neuroscience, the electricity or the life force, something that runs through the entire cosmos. And we are going to be kind of thrown into this weird, right? From Capricorn to Aquarius is like the weirding. It's the movement from institutional, societally defined structures that function in a sort of economic regularity, like the machine, the mechanism of a machine, into a sort of weirdness, impulses, right? This is Uranus. This is from beyond the pale, life force or cosmic energy, an intervention of a higher mind. These are all things that we'll be reckoning with. Something like AI or aliens is a great kind of multi-tiered or multivalent symbology of that. I'll continue this video in a second.